Oh man, I'm so glad there's only one episode. One episode left of this. God, maybe I'll end on a high note. Who am I kidding? Hello, everyone, and of course, welcome to my channel. I'm Reina Creole, bringing you that spice to sci-fi and pop culture analysis, and of course, keeping it real when it comes to theme parks. And in the spirit of keeping it real, this is finally the ninth and final episode of season one of She-Hulk. And of course, your girl got some things to say about it. But before I get started, because this review is actually going to go a little bit differently than the others, do your girl a favor, please do hit that subscribe button. And then once you do, make sure you hit that notification bell. So if YouTube does its job right and feeds the hamsters that run on the wheel to run the server farms for YouTube, that you get notified when your girl has hot, fresh content for you to enjoy. So, with that said, let's get into it, shall we? Now, if you've been following my last two reviews, I've actually been putting up, a couple of clips from the show and scrubbing through the episode because, quite frankly, I actually found joy in doing that. So, for the finale, I was going to scrub through it and show you the stuff I liked, which I can't think of anything really, and the stuff that I didn't like. For example, in the beginning, doing the quote unquote homage of Jennifer Walters as She-Hulk, but the Incredible She-Hulk. So basically, you dropped her into the original Incredible Hulk, the iconic '70s show that I would watch in reruns and just loved, and drop her into that. That was not an homage. An homage indicates respect. And since obviously you people do not have respect for the source material, that just came off as a slap in the face. But I was willing to overlook that to see where you were going to go with this. I didn't like the fact that this episode didn't start out with, "Hey, let's see Jen get consequences for hulking out and trying to hurt people." Okay, granted, the beginning of this episode, you did see Jen in the same kind of lockup that the Abomination was in. So it looked like that's where they were going with the consequences and everything. With the house arrest bracelet and her having to leave her apartment and then her having to move in with her mom. I'm like, okay, all right. We'll see what's her life going to be like. What's gonna what what's gonna change. But between poor Pug getting dropped into intelligentsia, the little confab or whatever to get together, and apparently the Abomination is a speaker at, to basically find out that the fanboy, whose name escapes me right now because I don't really care to remember it, is the one behind this whole thing because supposedly he doesn't think that Jen deserves to have the powers of the Hulk. And it's insinuated very heavily that the biggest bone of contention that these gentlemen have with She Hulk is because she stole her powers. Why do we need another She Hulk? And then it just continues to snowball from there to the point where Jen breaks the fourth wall. Not that that surprises me. Breaks the fourth wall in the Disney Plus app, like I'm showing you right here. Jumps into the other scenes. You see her in Burbank at the studios at Disney. You see her walk into the writer's room, which is an obvious self insert. Not that I have a problem with that, but if the show was of any quality and I cared, this would have been fun. But to me, it just seemed gratuitous, and I wanted it to be over. There's a joke that Kevin runs everything, so Jen, aka She-Hulk, has to go talk to Kevin, which we believe is Kevin Feige, but it turns out that Kevin is actually a robot, kind of like the man behind the curtain in The Wizard of Oz. So basically, all of these shows and plots being generated by AI. Again, it would have been funnier if it wasn't for the BS that I had to see before this came up. Oh, and don't forget the line about, yeah, and throw some Daredevil in there because girl has needs. I wonder how that would have went over if, like, say, my boy Tony Stark had said that. So basically, what happens is Kevin decides that Jen is making sense. I can't see an AI acquiescing to a human, but that's just me. And what you get basically is Jennifer getting a respawn. She doesn't catch it in the ass for her actions. It all boils down to basically she's suing Intelligentsia and getting back at those trolls for talking trash about her and suing them for defamation or whatever. And then it ends with the glamorous shot of She-Hulk going into the courtroom. And it's like, oh, where's your suit? Where's that? And off and fade and end the season. And I almost would have let that go with kind of like, yeah, all right, whatever. The episode just no. As a finale, that was just a hot mess. And kind of left it at that. I say kind have. And again, I was going to show you all of that stuff and go into very, very deep detail, but something changed my mind. Do you know what that something was? I happened to see this article come out, which proves yet again these people writing for Marvel MCU shows, and specifically, I'm going to put Jessica Gao on blast as the writer, the head writer for this show. She Hulk team explains the fourth wall breaking finale and delivering an FU to toxic Marvel trolls. Okay, so how many times have we talked about quote unquote toxic fandom on this channel? It seems that the toxic that they're talking about, I mean, we're not talking about the people who are just a-holes online. I mean, you're always going to have that population regardless, but that's what happens when you have people who live behind a keyboard and talk much crap, but out in public are as silent as an ant farting. Yeah, pretty much. But the toxic that they are talking about are the people who dare point out, and very justifiably so, legitimate issues with the writing and with the presentation of this entire series. Apparently, you have a problem with that. And because you have a problem with that and can't stand up to criticism, well, I won't say can't stand up to, you stand up to that, but what it is you can't handle that criticism. So you just call them man babies and say, yeah, we're going to own those toxic Marvel trolls because how dare they not want a female She Hulk? Well, what that tells me is that you didn't pay attention really to what the general sentiment was. Now, as for your girl, I did read comics. That whole comics fandom type of thing is pretty predominantly male, about 80% 80% male, 20% female. That's just how it is. I've never felt ostracized because of that. If anything, I felt more included. I mean, you want to talk about inclusion, be a woman or a girl, we'll say, be a woman and walk into a comic shop. I do not have to ask for help at all. Help makes itself prominent. Okay. Let's put it that way. A criticism that I had about this show was that the protagonist was unlikable. You made Jen unlikable. I wanted to like Jennifer Walters. I wanted to know more about Jennifer Walters. I wanted to see her character develop. You didn't do that. What you basically turned her into is, a whiny, predictable, narcissistic hoe. And I don't care about her. And it's obvious you don't care about the fans. You don't care about the fans who the main thing that they wanted to see was a character that they liked and they could identify with and recognize from the comics. You had legitimate issues with the quality of the writing on this show. We're not going to talk about the crappy CGI like you can see right here. Okay, why is it that you guys couldn't hire the same people to do the skin and visual effects that they did for Gamora on Guardians of the Galaxy? Because that was absolutely gorgeous. But people complaining about this show, you just want to call them trolls and then F you to trolls. I think you need to take that F you and turn it back on yourself. Because you're aiming most of that at men, but I'll tell you, as a female comic fan, I'm not impressed. As a matter of fact, it's a freaking disgrace. And I can honestly say right now, I am no longer a fan of the MCU. I'll be an MCU critic. I'll criticize it. I'm going to see Wakanda Forever just to see exactly what's going to happen with this film to end this disastrous phase 4. But I'm no longer an MCU fan because I don't need to be a fan of something where you have people who can act like this and talk like this to trash the fan base. You would think that you would learn from what happened with Star Wars, but obviously you have not. So, you know what? You get the fans that you deserve. And I've been a fan of the MCU ever since the first Iron Man movie, and I am done. I will criticize you, but I will never have the love for the MCU that I used to any freaking time soon. And that's it. Bump this freaking show. I don't care if they get a second season. If they get a second season, yeah, your girl is going to criticize and burn that too. But I'm no longer a quote unquote fan at all. And I dare you to call me a misogynistic troll. Wow, ran it so hard I forgot. I forgot I had my winder with me. So, with that said, folks, as I always say on this show, if this is something you like, you just go ahead and wholeheartedly like it and enjoy it and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. But as for your girl, I'm done with being a fan of the MCU. These writers need to just shut up and let their art speak for themselves. Stop antagonizing fans. Or then maybe you just want to antagonize fans you don't want. I don't know. Either way, it's a crappy look. And you obviously want to destroy any love that anyone has for the MCU. So, congratulations. You played yourself. So, folks, that's going to do it for this video. If you got some value out of it, please do hit that thumbs up button. And if you didn't get any value out of it, well, it is what it is. But I thank you for watching, though. Take care, everyone, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.
Oh no, it's happening. Let's
You're switching identity.
Oh, thank God this is over. Oh, man, I think I actually want to go watch Batwoman. Whew.